So thank you for the local government perspective. I'm going to share with you the environmental perspective and some beautiful artwork on why we need to move upstream in the life cycle of food packaging. First, I want to introduce my organization because some of you may not know UPSTREAM. We used to be called the Product Policy Institute. For years, we focused on zero waste by making producers responsible for their products when they become waste through take-back ordinances, the theory behind this approach being extended producer responsibility. And that theory was that if we force producers to be responsible for the proper management of their products at end of life, we could also craft those policies to force them to design for recycling and for reducing waste. And we were very successful in setting up producer responsibility advocacy organizations across the country that were successful in passing policies for a wide array of product categories. But about 5 years ago, when we started to deal with packaging and plastics, we could see that EPR policy had not yet resulted in producers reducing the quantity of waste. We realized that when it comes to plastics in the ocean, that even if the products were designed to be more recyclable, they would still escape into the environment. So we became one of the founding members, around the same time that we came to that realization, we became one of the founding members of the Break Free from Plastic global coalition of NGOs that's now comprised of 1,300 organizations across the globe working to solve the problem of marine plastic pollution. And at that same time, we rebranded as UPSTREAM because we realized that to solve this problem, we need to go upstream in the life cycle of products and find ways to reduce the consumption of packaging, and so that it would be less available to escape into the environment. The idea is that we need to generate less. Now, one thing that we know from having worked on the ban list 2.0, which is an evaluation of a number of shoreline and beach debris studies, is that foodware rates as 75% of the top 20 ocean plastic products coming from land-based sources. And these 8 items, all food packaging items, comprise that 75%. They are the ones that are most prevalent in beach and ocean cleanups. Recent studies estimate that there are over 150 million tons of plastics in the ocean today. Each year, at least 8 million tons of plastics are discharged to the ocean. That's equivalent to the dumping of 1 garbage truck full of plastic to the ocean every minute. Without a serious response, the plastic pollution problem will grow exponentially. Cheap shale gas in the United States resulting from fracking is fueling massive new investments in plastic infrastructure in the US and abroad. In the US alone, the petrochemical industry is investing $164 billion to build 264 ethylene cracker projects. Plastics production is expected to double within 15 years and quadruple by 2050. If no action is taken, this dumping of garbage trucks full of plastic in the ocean will increase to 2 per minute by 2030 and 4 per minute by 2050. And by 2050, there'll be more plastic in the ocean by weight than fish. Packaging is also a serious climate threat in terms of the total carbon footprint of every single plastic or other disposable product that we consume for a few minutes and then throw away. Cleanup efforts can't currently make a dent, and many of the technologies that we hear about that purport to offer silver bullets to clean up this problem, such as massive booms that capture plastic, like the recently launched Ocean Cleanup, and plastic dissolving enzymes in bacteria, are unproven, and there are serious concerns about their potential impact on ocean ecosystems. This massive build-out of plastics production is making an already cheap product even cheaper, ensuring that we will continue to see more single-use products made from plastic. And that's why suddenly I can't find an organic tea that isn't packaged either itself in a plastic pouch that I immerse into hot boiling water, or wrapped in plastic. And why young parents are being sold on feeding their babies with plastic squeeze tubes. And why all through Asia, consumers are being sold all kinds of products in individually wrapped pouches. And I actually have a few samples of what you see in this picture here with me today. This is the future of our grocery stores, where your detergent is wrapped in a single-use serving, and your hair gel and so on. No single-use foodware type is a silver bullet. Bio-based packaging made from plants is not really more environmentally friendly than, say, a petroleum-based plastic. Recent LCA evaluations put out by the Oregon Department of the Environment, got that name wrong, but you know what I'm talking about, tell us that they are worse in terms of acidification, nutrient loading into waterways, and water consumption. Bio-based materials are also not necessarily compostable and are not marine degradable. Compostable products, the LCAs tell us, tend to be more environmentally damaging than the products that they are designed to replace. One primary reason for this is the higher burdens associated with growing the agricultural products they're made from, or cutting down the trees used to make the paper versions. Composting, unlike other end-of-life waste management alternatives, such as recycling, is a relatively poor method of recovering the nutrients or value embedded in the products. These products have been found to contain toxic substances, which will be discussed later today. And as many of you know, not all the certified compostable packaging composts in our commercial compost facilities. Furthermore, most compostable plastic packaging does not degrade in marine environments. Now, recyclable products generally have environmental benefits, but for food serviceware, these benefits are often not realized, since when contaminated with food, recyclable foodware ends up in the landfill. It's too dirty. So the real culprit here are the throwaway products, these disposable products, whether they're compostable, bio-based, recyclable, they're still part of our throwaway culture. And what we really need is a culture shift from disposable, throwaway, single-use products to refillable, reusable, and reduced. And I hope that we'll be thinking with our policy hats on today how we help to foster this culture shift away from throwaway. Now, we're not the first to grapple with these things. Governments all over the world are taking action in response to the plastic pollution problem. I'm not going to go through all of these policies, and there are many more, but what we're seeing is a mix of policies coming from international bodies that ban plastic. Some of them ban plastic and shift to other disposables, and others really focus on source reduction by setting targets for reducing the generation of single-use products. Today, I hope you'll have an opportunity to review the handout on source reduction policy options and consider ways to address this problem. From an environmental perspective, we shouldn't be transferring our problems from one type of single-use packaging product to another. We need to develop policies that dramatically reduce our reliance on single-use throwaway packaging.